नमस्कार, हम लोग शुरू करें. अगर आप लोग सब लोग सुव्यवस्थित हो गए हैं, मेरे लिए बड़ा खुशी का मौका है. आई एम ऑलवेज डिलाइटेड टू बी इन अहमदाबाद. My mother was from Kathiawad, and there's some sort of a homecoming whenever I'm in Ahmedabad or any part of Gujarat. And I'm very delighted to be moderating this panel. There's very little I can moderate because there are three people, very eminent people. There is, to my right, Rohini Rana ji, whose book is an absolutely fantastic, the best cookbook I've ever had encountered. And I would say is more than a cookbook. Nahid was saying that I haven't been to Nepal, and Nahid is going to represent Bangladesh on this South Asian festival. And I said that if you have a look at Rohini ji's book, you don't have to, I don't mean it really, you don't have to go to Nepal. It is a magic carpet which transports you to Nepal. It tells you about the recipes of all the people, common people in different regions of Nepal. And she has done a fantastic book on palace cuisines of Nepal. So the two books together give you an introduction to Nepal, which is absolutely fantastic. Chef Rajith from Abeysekara from Sri Lanka is again somebody who brings in something very unique to this panel discussion. He asked me just before we stepped up, what are you going to ask me? So I said, I don't have to ask you anything. You just have to tell us what you feel is distinct about Sri Lankan cuisine. And Sri Lankan cuisine, you see, most of us make a mistake. हम लोगों से गलती क्या होती है कि हम लोग सोचते हैं नेपाल का खाना हिंदुस्तान का खाना है, श्रीलंका का खाना हिंदुस्तान का खाना है, बांग्लादेश का खाना हिंदुस्तान का खाना है. एक हद तक ये बात सही है कि the South Asia has so many commonalities, and that is why we have this great food festival. Manish must be complimented for bringing together the South Asian foods and flavors. ये SAAG festival जो है, मगर हर खाने की अपनी अपनी खासियत है कि नेपाल में खाना उतना ही विविध और डाइवर्स है जितना भारतवर्ष में, शायद उससे ज़्यादा छोटे देश को देखते हुए. श्रीलंका में औपनिवेशिक राज जो था वो भारत से बहुत फर्क था. देयर वर डच देयर, देयर वर ब्रिटिश देयर, एंड ऑल्सो देयर वर तमिल्स, देयर वर जाफना तमिल्स, देयर वर ओरिजिनल सिंगलर्स हु सेंचुरीज अगो वेंट फ्रॉम इंडिया. और ये सारा खाना, वहाँ भी पहाड़ है, वहाँ भी समुद्र है, वहाँ भी प्लांटेशंस है, वहाँ भी अद्भुत मसाले हैं. सो द फूड इज़ वेरी डिफरेंट. केरला आप जाएँ तो आपको मलाबार पराठा मिलता है, जो कहीं कहीं उसको सिलोन पराठा कहते हैं. करी आपको मिलती है जो कोकोनट बेस्ड है. ही विल टॉक अबाउट देम. वेरी हेल्दी बट वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम करीज इन इंडिया. बांग्लादेश अगेन आई हैव अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग रिलेशनशिप. माई मदर स्टडीड एट शांति निकेतन, and I will shut up soon after this. My job is only to string together the three speakers, and she brought me up on doi mach and other things, paturis, which were cooked in Bengal, and she made me conscious that there were two Bengals even before partition. There was Ghoti Bengal and there was Bengal. And the problem was that the Hindu landlords in Bengal, like the Tagore family, Jorasako, where they stayed, and the commoners in Bengal ate very different foods. And before the unfortunate great famine of Bengal, the two streams did not mingle. So I will leave it at that, and I will begin with Rohini ji. If you could tell the audience a little about what you are interested in, what Nepal is about.
We take this one. Hello, everyone. I'm really honored to be part of this great event. Thank you, Dr. P.Pant, for praising my work so much. Sorry, so you wanted to ask me about Nepal and my books, right?
With Nepal, no, I would like to tell them about this diversity which your book brings.
Okay, right. So my first book is based on just one community, which is the Ranas, and that is influenced a lot by India, so it's rich, let's say the rich influence of India to the Ranas. But my second book, I have written about 10 communities, 10 ethnic communities from all over Nepal. In fact, I've divided Nepal laterally into 3 regions because the topography really affects the food of the country. So the northern area, which is the high Himalayan range, which is inhabited by the Thakalis and the Sherpas. So their food is very different, let's say, to the southern area. And the northern area is influenced by Tibet. Now the mid-hilly regions, starting from west, are the Thakuris, the Brahmins, the Kshetris, Magar, Gurung, Tamang, Newars, Rais, and Limbus. So they are in the whole of the mid-section of Nepal. And their food is similar, very, very similar. And then we come to the Kathmandu Mandala, which is inhabited by the indigenous Newar community. And they are a blend of the north and the south and have created this unique cuisine, which is really, really spectacular. And then we come down to the Tarai area, which is very close to India. And we have the Tharus and the Madesis and the Mithila community, which is influenced a lot by the southern neighbor, which is, of course, India. So my second book portrays this community and their ethnic cuisine, not just the ethnic cuisine, but I have tried to showcase the tradition and the rituals and the culture by, let's say I have a background of the fabric and the jewelry worn by the communities as well, just to showcase their culture, their ethnic, festivities, the main festivals, and the food eaten during those festivals. Thank you, Dr. Sir.
Would you like to add to what you think is special about it?
Good afternoon. First, I would thanks for invite for the special event. My name is Rajith. I'm from Sri Lanka, but living in Dubai. Especially Sri Lankan cuisine, as my knowledge, that's very healthy because of the now we are not at any oil and nothing, ghee oil or whatever. We are trying to make now always for the like a coconut milk because of the natural. That's why all the European also like it, that Sri Lanka, because we have a lot of now Ayurveda hotel. Ayurveda hotel, we are not using any fat, any red meat and whatever, because only Sri Lankan food. Especially our cuisine for Sri Lankan, like a fish amoltial or milk rice, because of the special guests like. That's why all the Ayurveda hotel, they are preparing that food. But very healthy. Even if you come anyone for Sri Lanka hotel, all the Ayurveda hotel, there is some cookery book with the recipes for all the dishes. That one you can take if you travel for Sri Lanka. Also, thank you very much for giving me a chance. Thanks.
Nadia, in the preliminary round, I would like you to add one more thing. Before you come to Bangladesh, you mentioned that you have worked in India in different parts. So would you like to comment a little on your observations on, shall we say, either diversity of food, कि हिंदुस्तान के जितने कोनों में आप जाएं, you find, unfortunately today, paneer, kali dal, kadhai gosht, butter chicken, and things of that kind. And it does great insult, if I may say so, to regional cuisines. When I read her book, what I found remarkably pleasant was कि खाने में अभी भी अपनी पहचान हर community की बाकी है. They take pride, they may be eating pork, they may be eating beef, they may be eating simple vegetables, forage foods. They try to create something very tasty. So would you like to do that? And I think I would go back to Rajith and also ask him कि मसाले आपके यहाँ इतने अच्छे हैं, cinnamon है, cloves हैं, much better than, I mean, some of it what we have great pepper, we have great cardamom, but they have very good masalas. And I would like to know how they use their spices. And I would like to ask you, when you come back to Bangladesh, कि shorshe is used very much. And also you use minimal masalas and you use tastes, including bitter, which is not used elsewhere. But before that, I would like you to talk about.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Pan. In Bangladesh, we are from Delta, and there are a lot of rivers, and all we talk about fish, bhat, mach, rice, fish, dal. So it is very simple, comfort food, and we have a lot of diversity. Though it's a very small country, But every district has got a different taste, different flavor of cooking. So, you know, like as he said, that how we use our mustard. So we paste our mustard, we temper our mustards. As, you know, in South India and Sri Lanka, they use a lot of curry pata. Instead, we use tej pata, that is bay leaves. So we, also for flavor, towards the end of our cooking, we use a lot of coriander leaves, green coriander leaves. So, you know, mustard paste is very special for us. So when you know, we have guests coming to our house, so we use mustard, and how we prepare the mustard. We soak it and then grind it with chili and little bit of salt. So, you know, that's what they say, that bitterness goes away. And if you soak it overnight and throw the water, the bitterness goes away. So, you know, like in Kolkata, Bengalis, they use yogurt when they prepare with mustard. But Bangladesh, we don't use it. And yeah, you were saying something, I forgot. Coconut milk.
No, what I wanted to ask you is, besides what you have mentioned about Bangladesh food and spicing, could you probably say something about the Pant Foreign also? Because that can, Pant Foreign.
Oh, yes, Pachpuran. You know, like Bangladesh was not a very rich country. So even now, we are not very rich. So that is why the spices, we never grew any spices in Bangladesh. So we used to import from other countries, especially Sri Lanka, India, and other countries. So instead, to make the food tastier and aromatic, so the Bengalis, they have made a mixture of rye, that is shoshe, the mustard seeds, and methi, and kalojira nigella. And, you know, the 5 spices, we mix it and make it very aromatic. But the aroma will not come just like that. You know, you have to temper it. Otherwise, the aroma will not come, isn't it? So this is a uniqueness of cooking, right? So methi also like that. So we use it in, we call it in labra, pachforon, and also we cook it with, you know, fish, and even we make achari gosh with pachforon and other sabjis. So this is how we do it. Thank you.
Okay, in Nepal, we'll use a couple of spices which are very different to Indian cuisine or Bangladeshi or Sri Lankan. We use 2 main spices which are quite pungent and strong, and they're called Jimmu and Timur. Timur is basically Sichuan pepper, and that's the influence from the north, from Tibet. And it's grown also locally, and it looks like a black pepper, but it's very pungent. And Jimmu is mountain allium. That is like a dried grass, basically, and that's used for tempering dals and other vegetables and meat. So those are the 2 spices which are used a lot in Nepali food. We use a lot of sesame seed as well, because sesame seed is not so prevalent in other parts of India or I think Bangladesh. No. So sesame seed is also used a lot. Yes, thank you. So that's what I wanted to add.
Thank you. Rajith, I would like to ask you 2 questions separately. We are on the spices at the moment. So is there a special way, the Sri Lankan cuisine, especially what you cook, you use delicate spices like cinnamon or something, which adds flavor to that which we don't know. We use cinnamon as a whole spice, garam masala in India. That's one part. The second part I would like to ask you is that you did mention fish and healthier white meat in Sri Lankan cuisine. I would like you to refer to some other seafood also, if it is used on the beaches.
Thank you. Especially when I making the pork curries, we are making like we make in the home all the masalas, like we are not taken by any supermarket. Even now hotel also we have the big factory, we have separate stuff they are making for the spices. You know, when I make like masala, we make like coriander seed, cinnamon stick, and cardamom, cumin seed, and turmeric powder, turmeric. We have to dry in the sunlight. Wash and dry the sunlight. We have to keep it at least 2 hours in the sunlight, then get it dry, and after that we have to blend it for the blender and powder like that. That is the things, that is a powder we use the powder, especially all the curry. We are not by the supermarket. That's why I'm telling you the hotel is, especially our hotel is very healthy. And other question you asking me? Fish?
About seafood.
Okay.
Other than fish.
Okay.
Mussels, scallops, other seafood.
Yeah, especially I told you for the fish amboltial, we are using like a tuna. We are especially for tuna fish, but tuna is very heat food. But we have other white fish. We are calling for the king fish or shea fish. That is very healthy, also expensive, but very healthy. That is white fish. We are calling shea fish or parau fish or mullet, or talapat.
What about mussels, prawns?
Mussels prawn we have a lot, but then you know now at that moment all the local or foreigners they don't like to eat much because of the now so many people have getting sick, you know, some cholesterol and whatever. But we are using, but not much. That especially prawns they like. Even local and the European, because that's prawns from Sri Lanka.
Is there a special way in Sri Lanka to prepare prawns? Special way to prepare prawns?
Especially preparing the like curry, prawns curry, not masala, like with coconut milk, like a thin gravy, not thick gravy. Everybody like thin gravy. If you make it thick gravy, we have to add more coconut milk like thick. But coconut milk is also sometimes fat. We are making second coconut milk. That's right. Thank you.
I'll get back to you. You know, there is great Ilish Mach, the hilsa, and it is so full of bones that a non-Bengali finds it almost difficult to even have a mouthful. Only once in my life I have had a chef who could steam hilsa, take a sharp knife, fillet it in a manner that I could have a boneless hilsa. How he did that, Chef Jerome Gomes from Oberoi, I have never had that again. So I would like to ask you that Bengalis are known to be synonymous with mach and bhat, and mishti, of course. My problem is that we think that they value Ilish Mach most, but they also have other fish. So would you like to talk about the range of fish? I would like to know how to relish Ilish Mach with bones, but I would also like you to tell us a little about fish other than rohu or maser, chital, pabda, whatever, you know. So what are the other freshwater fishes, pokorwala mach, which can be enjoyed by Bengalis and non-Bengalis alike without worrying about the bone?
Thank you. Like you were saying that you had Ilish Mach without bones, fillet. That is called smoked hilsa. You had it in Dhaka Club. So it's very famous, boneless smoked hilsa, and you can have it with fork and knife. Acha, you know, everybody knows the Ilish Mach, Bangali's favorite. But we have other fishes, like small fishes. The tiny fishes is called kachki mach. It's tiny, chota mach. That is a delicacy. You know, now we don't get it, but it's very expensive from the Padda River in the, in the deep water. They used to catch this small fish, and those fishes were so aromatic. It's so tasty. You just don't need anything, only little bit of onion and mustard oil and haldi, just a slight and salt. That's it. And it is so tasty, unbelievable. It's tastier than Ilish Mach. And their pabdas, Earlier, we used to get it from the river. These days, we are cultivating a lot of fishes, so it's very hard to get it. And these are the delicacies, less bones and soft white fish. These are very tasty. You can just have it with, just as I said, little bit of mustard oil, haldi, and onion, kacha mirich. That's it. And as you said, chital mach. Chital mach, you know, like chital mach is available everywhere. Like they also call it catfish. But you know what we do? So tiny bones we can't eat just like that, you know, can't make gravy. So what we have done it, we scrape the fish and make it into, you know, keema. Debone it, and then we make it, you know, a cake and covered with the skin, with that skin, and they fry it or you boil it. Then you cut it into cubes and you know, you cook it as you like. You can cook it like a sabji, you can cook it like a meat, or as you cook it like, you know, with coconut milk with curry patta. You know, that's kind. And prawns are also very famous. The king prawns and bagda, galda. We make it, these are the, you know, rather than ilshmats. Thank you.
Rohini ji, there are two interesting things. When we think of Nepal and we say landlocked kingdom or landlocked republic now, what happens is we think that there is no fish there. But we forget that major rivers pass through Nepal, and from Kosi, Karnali to Dudhkosi to Bhutkoshi to anything, you have enough opportunities in Nepal to eat fish. So I would like you to tell us something about how fish is part of Nepalese cuisine. And the other question, which is inspired by your book, very interesting combinations. You have a mutton curry with radish, which is a very, very odd combination because I had come across very tasty. I tried it at home. In Kashmir, they have a mosh gad, fish made with radish. But this is the first time I had radish with lamb mutton combination. I also would like to ask you the third thing. You have used a lot of millet-based dishes in your recipe, millet-based recipes. And they are very flavorful and they are very good. And Chef Rajith was saying that more and more people are worried about their health. And the Prime Minister in India has been promoting Shri Anna and millets this year of millet, and it will be the food security and so on. I think your book has that, it opens up the vistas that how you can create great dishes with millets, how you can have unusual combinations, how even the poor man's food has taste, and the fish again.
Thank you, Dr. Pushpesh. I'll answer your first question first about the fish. Like when we think of Nepal, we always think of it as a landlocked country, so no one thinks of it as, you know, having any fish or prawn or anything. Prawn is, we don't have, but we have river fish, which is koi carp and other varieties of the, you know, one is called asla macha, which has just one bone running through and is very, very tasty. These are all fresh river fish and very, very interesting and very tasty. We have the smaller variety of fish, which are dried and smoked and stored and fermented and used in tomato pickle, like you said, the different combinations of mutton and vegetables. We have a lot of combinations with fish also. So we use the fish, the dried and smoked fish, and you can pound it and use it in achars, you know, with the tomatoes. The mutton we use with cauliflower, we use it with a radish, we use it with, you know, all different combinations with potatoes and peas. You just add, because they are so fond of meat. The Nepalese basically are really meat eating, and they love their mutton. So they, you know, as a chance, they try to be healthy and add the vegetables to it, because they know red meat, I guess, is not so healthy. Talking about your third question, where we are talking about millet, we have a lot of buckwheat in the northern area, buckwheat and millet, is called kodo, and that was grown naturally in those areas. And later we are coming, they are importing the rice varieties and sowing them in the areas. In the northern hills, it was basically buckwheat and millet, which is again come back in fashion and is so considered so healthy today. That was what was originally eaten in those areas. And they have some very interesting recipes. They just eat it sometimes. Mainly their staple was like a porridge. Otherwise, they fry little buckwheat fingers and eat it with the rest of their meal. So there's a great combination of the natural grains, which are back in fashion now in the modern world, let's say. We've realized that these natural grains are healthier than the polished rice and wheat that we have been consuming so much. Thank you.
Chef, as she pointed out that people are having this consciousness that polished rice is not very good. So because the Sri Lankan diet is based staple on rice, is there a movement there also to move away from rice to coarser grains or to have alternatives? And I would also like you to specifically talk about stringed hoppers, the idiyappams, because are they bought ready-made from the market in lieu of rice and combined with a curry, or you make them at home? And what do you think is the possibility of idiyappams supplanting, but they again are made of rice? So would you say that there are parts of Sri Lanka in the mountains, etc., where rice is not plentiful or expensive, and people eat other coarser grains?
You talk about the regarding regarding string hoppers, very famous to Sri Lanka because everyone is like even children and everyone. But if we make in the string hoppers we are using for the rice flour, but we are not taking the supermarket. But easily you can make the home, right? Red rice, right? We have to dry and powder and press coconut milk. That's it. And some baking powder, some little bit sugar. Then we very easy. And even hoppers also we make in the home. That is almost same recipe. But hoppers very difficult to make home because if you make in the hoppers, we need some like a practical. Without practical, very difficult to make. But some people can make. But string hoppers, everyone can make in the home. That very healthy. You can make string hoppers like a red or white. Then when I'm eating, we need something gravy, right? But we are making home like we are calling like all the chefs know like curry sauce. Curry sauce make like a Sri Lankan language is kiri hodda. Kiri hodda means like a curry sauce, same like I was in the hotel, but we are making very very simple, very healthy. That say like a curry patta. Curry patta we are calling curry leaves, right? Curry leaves, rampe, red onion, and cinnamon stick, cardamom, and thick coconut milk and thin coconut milk, both. Because first we have to put the thin coconut milk after getting boiled, then we have to add the thick coconut milk. If you put the first thick coconut milk, getting curl in the sauce like a gravy. And that very famous thing in the string hoppers and hoppers also. Thanks.
And what is a meal without sweets? You normally conclude a meal with sweets, or you have Bismillah and start a meal with sweets. So I would like you to tell me a little something about sweets in Nepal.
That's an interesting one because when I got married from India and went to Nepal, there wasn't much in place of dessert. It used to be the same thing served every day, everywhere. The Indian sweet market has really flooded Nepal today. But the original desserts of Nepal are basically yogurt-based sometimes. It's called sikarni, which is a lot like Shrikhand. But the spices that go into it are different, and it has a lighter consistency. It's not as heavy as the Shrikhand. In the northern area, with the Thakalis and Sherpas, they have a very interesting, like a sweet fried biscuit called khapse, which they eat with their butter tea. And the rest of Nepal, we have a lot of different types of kheer. You must try the makai ko kheer, that's out of corn. It's like a corn milk pudding, which is very different and not as heavy as our usual kheers. We have gur bhat also, which is basically rice just cooked with jaggery and molasses and dry fruits added to it. So, and then there is a special type of rice, a small type of rice variety called latte. And that is cooked with shakkar or gur or even sugar now. So that used to be another sweet eaten a lot in that area. Then in the southern area, in the Tarai, we have thekua, which is again like a sweet biscuit. You know, you can make it with jau atta or with wheat and add sugar and ghee. So we don't have many desserts, or much of a variety like India has, but we definitely have quite a sweet tooth in Nepal, and after every meal, or festivals mainly, they serve a lot of sweet dishes as well. Thank you.
Would you like to comment something about the sweets in Sri Lanka? Not only the Western ones, but the local ones.
Especially Sri Lanka sweet, we are calling for the black dodol. Black dodol that we can bake like palm sugar, jaggery, yeah, palm sugar and pressed coconut. Always we are using the pressed coconut milk because everyone like it, and also that is a recipe. Palm sugar and pressed coconut milk, cardamom, and some cinnamon and raisin. If you want to put, you can add any nuts, cashew nuts, almond nuts, and anything, no problem. But that very famous is black dodol. We are calling kalu dodol. Kalu means like a black dodol. And the Sri Lankan sweets, we have so many things like a kaum, cookies, you know. We are calling for the alua. Alua means like also making rice flour and cumin seed and some water. And kaung, like we are calling oil cake, or like oil cake. That one is oil. We have to take some rice flour and a little bit sugar and a little bit salt. We have to make and keep in 2 hours because of the getting soggy in the batter. Then we have to take some small pan with the oil. Then after that we have to add the powder slowly like a tea, like a yara tea, tea. Then we have the small wooden. We have to put the batter. We have to make like this two small wooden like this. It's coming like a top, like a bulb, like a bulb. That is Sri Lanka. This is very famous. All the festival time, we are making like kaun and kaun cookies. Thank you.
The interesting thing about Bengali sweets is that Bengal is synonymous with mishti, but most mishti is bought from the Moira or the sweet shop maker. You go to Calcutta, you go to Nakud Nindi, you go to B.N. Sen, whether it's a Rasgulla, Shita Bhog, Kheer Mohan, Kamla Bhog, or Sandesh, or Kadapak, or Jalbhara, or Joynagar Mahua, you don't make them at home. I would like you to tell us a little about, like she did, sweets made at home.
Oh, thank you. It is, like Bengalis, you make different kinds of sweet dishes, different kinds. It's amazing. And it's all seasonal. Like during, when the winter comes, they take the sap from the date trees and make it into gur. And with the gur, the first gur which comes is called nolil gur. They will make nolil gur, kheer, payesh, and everything. And pitas. That, the first pita they make with that gur is known as tatrash pita. Tatrash pita is no adding milk, but only the, the syrup. That's it. And different kind of pitas, like with kheer, with, the coconut, and amazing, you just name it, there's varieties. And also halwas. Halwas, different kind of halwas, morobbas. The morobba, we like what do you call, snow growth. With that, we make murabba, and with papaya, we make halwa, and then with booted dal, chickpeas. With chickpeas, we make halwas, and with egg, we make halwas, egg halwa, it's egg burfi. And you just name it, anything. It's just like, the Punjabis, they make, the Gujaratis, they make halwas. We also make halwas like that. But pita is very different. It is very seasonal. During winter, we make Rashir pita. Thank you. So, I can show you.
No, I hope you show us and let us taste also. I would like to add one small thing before we, wrap up for Q&A if there is anybody who wants a question. Rice has been mentioned different parts. We in this country seem to value, most of us in North India, basmati rice. But Bengalis value Govind Bhog better than basmati. Then again, we had a chow performance in the morning, and my thoughts went back to Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, and there they have the rice bowl of India, their Durvaraj, and things of that kind are better valued. There's a friend, Tarana Hussain, she probably is coming here subsequently, who has led to the revival of the Tilak Chandan and Hansraj in the belt. There is a Kalu Jiro somewhere. There is a wild rice which you mentioned in your book. So I would like you to comment briefly on the rices which are particularly valued in your cuisine. Then we can move to...
Sure. So Nepal is basically a rice-eating area. Its staple diet is dal bhat. When they say, when two people meet each other, they don't say hello, they say bhat khayo, which means have you eaten your rice, basically. So that's how important rice is to Nepal. And there are different varieties of rice. The basmati has just entered the market now. There was no basmati before. And we used to have the local grown rice, which was, I think, 100 times healthier than what we are eating today and consuming today. There used to be boiled rice, which was called usine ko chawal. It was boiled, and it used to really smell because it used to be like fermented. When my husband, who was in the army, when he joined the army, that's what the soldiers ate. They ate that boiled rice, which is considered very healthy, but not tasty at all, according to him. So that was the rice of the area. There's masino chawal, which is a little better. Masino meaning it's fine rice. So that is, like the well-off communities would be eating masino. The not that well-off, the villagers would be eating the usine ko bhat. And now there's, in different areas, there's something called latte chawal, which is again a very fine, very, small grain rice, which is again very tasty. Then there's an area called Jumla, where they get, the rice from there. And in my book, like Dr. P.Pant mentioned, I have a whole poem written by a poet who has described the meal prepared for a king, who was Prithvi Narayan Shah, who was basically the person who made Nepal what it is today. He combined all the different communities, and the Shah dynasty ruled as king for a long time. So there was the menu prepared for him, and for him they have mentioned the rice which should come from a certain area, because that area grew the most tasty rice. So we have a lot of varieties of rice. Like I said, it's basically a rice-eating country. Thank you.
Rice. We have varieties of rice, but there is very special rice. It's called Theki Chata, red rice, with the husk and all, the red rice. Those are very healthy and very popular among the health freak people. Not me, I love white rice. But, in Barisal, that is southern part, Barisal Khulna, their special rice is called Balam Chal. Very fine and aromatic, very nice. But the special rice in Bangladesh, which we make out of it, pulao, biryani and all, is called Kalu Jira and Chini Gura. They're very fine, tiny. Chini Guras are very small grain, like them tiny, but it's very aromatic, so tasty. When you, like you cooking in that, like 10 house before, then you know you can smell it from here, like ilish mach. Like my grandmother used to say, when you cook pulao, stay away from the gene. Because it's so aromatic, it passes, you know. And these are the very special rice, but at one time we had 3,000 types of rice used to grow in Bangladesh. Now, I think 1,500 type of rice you can get. But very popular ones are, like I said. Thank you.
Thank you. Rise again.
Sri Lanka, we have three kind of rice. It's very famous. It's, I call it Pacha Perumal rice and Suandel rice. Red rice we have everywhere, but Pacha Perumal and Suandel rice is very popular for the healthy, because some almost house using for the Pacha Perumal. But that rice is very hard. Before cook, we have to put with the water at least 2 hours. Otherwise, you can take more than 2 hours for the cooking. If you put the water 2 hours or 1.5 hours, within 20 minutes you can eat. But low calories, very healthy. If you eat in like a 2-3 spoon, enough for you. All right, because good for the healthy. And Suandel rice also, this is special for Sri Lanka rice. That is also not like Pacha Perumal. That also we have to put the water with at least 45 minutes or 1 hour with the water. This is very, very hard. Then after that you can cook. But when you cook, we have to add a little bit salt. Because of the, if not put the salt, we can take more time. If you put the salt before cook the rice, then boiling is getting past. Otherwise, we need more time. But very good rice. When you're eating with any dal or any fish curry or any coconut sambal, very tasty, but at least you need for the gravy. Without gravy, you cannot eat because of the very dry rice. But can eat, but getting dry. Red rice is, we have everywhere, red rice is special for the Sri Lanka. We are using almost the Sri Lanka festival event. If you have festival event like a milk rice and Sri Lankan sweets, all the things we are using for the red rice. It's very famous, that one. Thank you.
One last question before we wrap up, and a short answer expected from all of you. This is a vegetarian food fest, which is a very, very rare occasion because people think that special food is only non-vegetarian dishes and so many of them. So I would just ask you to name one each, the favorite vegetarian dish which you have. Rohini ji, to begin with you.
Favorite vegetarian dish, I'll go back to the Rana cuisine because that's quite popular. It's a dish called aloo tareko. Potatoes in Nepal are included in every meal, literally. You have it at lunch, you have it at tea, you have it at dinner, and sometimes you have it at every meal, every day. So aloo tareko, which is a fantastic Rana recipe and differs a little bit in taste from house to house, but it's just a staple with the Nepalese potatoes. So that is a recipe I have in my book, which is my favorite and favorite of a lot of other people also. Thank you.
What would be your favorite vegetarian recipe?
Vegetarian dish. My favorite. I have so many favorite vegetarian dishes, especially for the, I like for the, jackseed. Jackseed, kalupol malwa. Tomorrow I have the presentation for that one. This is very, very thick. You can eat like a rice, roti, paratha, naan, whatever. That is, we are not making, we are making only for the like healthy. We don't add anything. Even in Sri Lanka also, we are not anything any artificial. We are making like a fresh and natural. Did you try tomorrow? We will try tomorrow. Try tomorrow. Thank you.
Nice for you.
Well, I like SAAG. SAAG is very favorite for me, and it's very easy to cook, and people love SAAG, and it's so healthy for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have had a fantastic discussion. I think they're hovering on the sideline, so I will thank you all very much. I enjoyed myself tremendously. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you very much.